Well, hi there, everyone. Welcome to our new page. We are Barbara and Carol, and we are the aging experts. We are so excited because we are bringing you the Zalevo Zingers. And we are just so excited to bring this to you, just to hear what these amazing products are doing for people and stories of transformation. And you know what, because we've experienced it ourselves, we are so excited to have you here to hear our first guest. We are so excited. But in the meantime, I'm going to introduce you to my co-host, Miss Carol Henderson. Carol, how are you doing today?
Doing great. And I'm Carol Henderson. I have Life by Design. And my whole desire is to help you to look better, live better, and feel better. And so we are bringing on a fabulous guest that can tell you a lot about that. And she's not in our age bracket that this page actually represents, but she's going to show all the young ones how to not get into problems by the time they truly need to age, because age is it's a choice, and you can age wonderfully like a bottle of fine wine, and that's what we want. So today I want to bring on Janie Sunshine. And that's all I ever say. I never give your last name because I just love that sunshine, because she is such a radiant being. And so Janie has had an amazing transformation in her life. And so we're going to start out by letting her tell us about it. Grab your cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy her story.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me be a guest here on this podcast. I'm super excited to be here. I'm actually really honored that you would ask me to be here. So thank you. My journey with my transformation, I'm still in my transformation. I'm still in that process. In April of 2021, I was introduced to Zalevo, and I was in a spot in my life where I had been working really hard on the inside of me, on my mindset, and on learning to see myself accurately, because how I was seeing myself was as not enough and too much. And I was in a lot of pain, emotionally, physically. I was really, really having a hard time. And I had actually been praying for help, because it was hurting me. When I got up off the couch, it was hurting me. And my legs were hurting, and my hips were hurting, and my heart was hurting, because I was also in a rough spot in my relationship. And God heard my prayer. And I was introduced to Zalevo. And when I looked at the ingredients that were on the back of I guess I didn't look on the back of the bag, but I looked at the ingredients and I recognized some of them, and I was like, oh, I want that. And my body was like, please give that to me. And so that started my journey. And my life is completely different now than it was almost 12 months ago. It's completely different in almost every way. So I started the formulations in April, the end of April, and I immediately started to feel better. And I started to feel a liberation in my health, and it was fantastic. I actually felt a change, and I felt hope for. I felt hope for the first time in a long time that I was going to be okay. And
It's okay to get your Kleenex.
I didn't bring any in with me.
Oh.
And that's okay.
I have some for you.
Thank you. Anyway, so that's my life is completely different. I feel I've released 70 pounds off of my body, which is phenomenal. And I am now living in my own place. I'm not married anymore. I'm really grateful to be exactly where I am. So, and I would say one more thing right now is that one of the greatest blessings that I've found in the last year or so of my life is a community of people that are so loving and full of love and light. And you two are definitely some of those people. So I thank God for both of you. And I thank you for receiving that. I appreciate you receiving that. So anyway.
It has been a joy, an absolute joy getting to know you.
And to see, and let's put it honestly, to see you shrinking. Like,
well, in other ways too, the emotional,
right, but just emotionally,
and the physical health, and I have posted a picture on, I think on this page of a before and after of her, and her eyes just pop out that you can see her coming to life, and then now you get to see her in motion, and that's been so exciting.
And one of the things that I think for myself that you said that is so important is that you were working on your internal self, because so often what happens, and you know, and I'm speaking to the choir because I have done this so many times, that you change the outer. I have probably lost 1,000 pounds in my life. The only problem was it was the same 30 to 40 pounds, because I never worked on, until now, I never worked on the inside. What were the triggers? What were the, how was I feeling about myself? And when you said you were feeling that you weren't enough or that you were too much, that's one of the things, because I've always been kind of an outgoing kind of gal, and people would say, "Oh, Barb, just tone down. And then on the other hand, it was like, sometimes when I was in my quiet, it would be like, Barb, what's wrong with you? You're not talking. So I couldn't win.
Right.
And so that I now know that came out as emotional eating.
Yeah.
Because no matter which way I turned, you can't please, because you can't please everybody, and you can't please anybody. Really, when you think about it, you have to be true to yourself.
Exactly.
And please yourself. How do you feel? And so I think that's one of the things that we want to bring out in this Zalevo Zingers, is that it's not just about losing weight or getting out of pain or whatever it is. It's how are we relating to, have we lost weight or are we out of pain?
Well, there's so many factors that can come into that,
Exactly.
Childhood traumas, adult traumas, car wrecks, falling down a flight of stairs. All those things add up in your life, and there are little problems that can come and torment you from each of those type things. Divorce. Divorce. We actually on our other channel had a woman that specializes in grief, and divorce is a grief. Gaining weight can be a grief. Having your children grow up and leave home can be a grief, but we don't recognize those. The only thing we recognize is a widow, but we don't recognize a divorcee as being in grief. And think about the difference in the support that you get in that. And so those things can all affect your inside.
Right.
And so often that inside reflects on the outside. And
yeah.
Right. And that was me when I got divorced from my first husband. So there I was, a divorced failure, but then it was like, okay, and I was in my 40s, and it was like, okay, I'm just going into my 40s. And it was like, all right, I'm not going to be fat and 40. And so I went on this crash program and lost the weight. Well, of course, didn't work on the inside stuff. So then it was like 10 years ago, but it was like at a 10-year cycle every 10 years. And then, because then at 60, I was a widow.
Mm-hmm.
And then, emotional eating, because I sat at home and ate because I had lost my husband.
Well, and people that are young, they think, oh, well, I've just gained a pound. Well, people that are elderly think that I just gained a pound last year. That's no big deal. But from 40 to 60, you gain a pound a year. That's 20 pounds.
It's 20 pounds.
From 25 to 65, that's 40 pounds. And so that it's the little foxes that spoil the vines, is what the Bible tells us. It's not the big monsters. It's the little things in our lives that build up and become big things. Like a little snowball rolling down a hill. It's tiny when it starts, but boy, I mean, have you ever seen an avalanche when it starts? And it starts even sometimes with a pebble or something that just gets dropped or whatever, and then all of a sudden the whole side of the mountain's coming down. It doesn't take a lot to bring it down.
Talking about those little things and the really checking in with what's going on inside. Something, and emotional eating, that is something that I did to cope with my life. I would numb out, and that was I would numb out by watching TV for hours on end. I would go out and I would get food from McDonald's, or I would get food from Dairy Queen, or I would go wherever, and I would eat most of my meals from fast food, and then come home and sit in front of the TV and just numb out
and not even taste it.
Because right, because it was too painful to be present. I didn't want to be present. I wanted to escape, and so I did. And at the same time, I did want to be present because I wanted to feel good. And so that's why I was praying for help. And so it's so interesting to see the difference in myself now. I don't have a TV. I don't want a TV because I don't want to put myself in that position, And so I say that I want to be present in my life, and I do. And so what I say to myself is so important, because someone can say something to me that might hurt my feelings or get to me. But then if I repeat it to myself over and over and over and over, I'm hearing that thousands of times.
Right.
And so that was one of the first things that I learned, was about my own self-talk. How do I talk to myself? And learning what it looks like to be my own friend, and to see the kindness that's in my eyes that I share with other people, and finally seeing that in myself, looking at myself right in the mirror and saying, Janie, I love you so much.
Right.
And crying and feeling my love for myself in a healthy way, so then I can give that love to others in that pure and healthy way. And so by using these label formulations, it helps me to be able to have the energy that I want, to live the life that I want, and for what's on the inside of me to be portrayed on the outside. And so I think that it's shining through more and more and more as I continue to take care of myself in every way, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and learning that it's okay and actually essential to love myself and take care of myself, rather than putting that responsibility on someone else or hiding. I'm not hiding anymore. I've come out to, take that mask off my face and quit pretending like everything is fine all the time, because it's not, and that's okay. Because we're all living our lives, and we all are doing the best that we can with our circumstances.
Right.
And then having the opportunity to lift others.
Right.
So
Yeah. I say with me, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. And part of one of the things for me is that I've realized that part of happiness is to accept yourself. And that's where my personality science stuff comes in, is quit beating yourself up for the things that you are not and celebrate the things that you are. Because no matter where you go, you cannot get away from yourself.
Amen.
You can move from, like for me, I moved from Montreal to Chicago, but I still had to deal with Barbara. I still had to deal with me living in the mirror. And it wasn't until I studied personality science until it was like, oh, that's why I do that. And I then realized that I could accept the things that I do, and the things, and then work on the things that I want to change, and the things that I don't want to change or that I don't want to do. Okay, fine. Well, you know what? That is who I am. And I like that about me. And like the things about you that you are. Wow. That was a revelation to me that I could like myself.
Yeah, so many people don't like themselves.
No,
and
they don't realize they can.
Right. Well, and they're taught to belittle, as a child, or teen, I decided that if I always thought on the worst, I would be disappointed. If I would expect the worst. Now, isn't that sad? And I can even remember voicing it to a couple of friends, but it's like, no, if I expect to not get to go do that, then I won't be disappointed if I don't.
Right.
And
that's
right
which
there
is a
just
self-fulfilling prophecy.
setting yourself up for it rather than expecting the best. And and it also that I don't know how much of it was in your case, Janie, but so much of our emotions can be dictated by our nutrition. We're supposed to be made, we are made spirit, soul, and body. But so often our emotions try to rule the roost, okay, and put everything else under it. Those are the drama queens of the world, okay? And the people that are always in crisis and always in depression or something going on and everybody's out to get me. Then there's the people who the body is trying to rule the roost, and they're comfort eating, and they're out gallivanting around and looking for their next enjoyment. And so that all of that's upside down. It's all upside down, and only we can choose. Only we can choose. We can pray for others that they will choose properly, but only each person can't choose. And that's something I think people are starting to realize. It's like that. It was common when we were children, Barbara. It was common back then, but I think it's coming more and more into the forefront as people are learning personal responsibility.
Right.
But a lot of that comes back to the nutrition. Our food is not as nutritious now as it was then. And so thankful for the products that we have, because they do give good quality, totally bioavailable. That means absorbed by your body, for those of y'all that don't know, but bioavailable nutrients, vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats, carbs, all in the right balance, in the right amount, and
without the additives.
Yes.
Additives.
And the genetically altered stuff. I mean, who wants their genetics messed with? And this comes from personal experience. When you eat genetically altered food, okay, typically like corn and stuff, is genetically altered with something to keep the bugs away. So it's altered with an insecticide, something that is will be in it so that the bugs will die if they get on it, so they leave. Well, bugs are an animal. The plant is not. But you eat it, and you're eating that insecticide, and becomes part of your body and your body starts being detrimental to itself,
Yep.
it starts killing off itself, and it also can change your DNA. Okay, that's a big deal. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so it's very important to not eat genetically altered foods. And like something like 95% of the soy and 95% of the corn in the world is genetically altered. What do we eat so much of? You know, I mean, I'm in Texas. We eat corn chips and salsa and, you know, you name it, corn tortillas.
Yeah, exactly. And I live in corn country in the Midwest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they
And they
spray the heck
spray.
out of it.
And they spray. I live in a small town surrounded by cornfields. And they spray.
Yeah.
And we breathe that in.
Yes.
It's like, oh, brother.
So
You know, with that pure, beautiful nutrition,
Yeah.
that, oh, you know, I do want to share the day that I started taking the formulations. I weighed myself and I looked down at the scale and it said 300.7, and I'm 5'3". So, you know, there's a lot of weight to carry around.
mhm.
And because I'd been doing my work on the inside, I looked down and I thought, oh boy, okay, I've got into the 300s. And for a moment I was like, oh my gosh. And then I thought, I know exactly what to do.
Mhm.
So I turned myself around. I looked at myself right in the mirror and I said, my weight does not determine my value or my worth.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I believed it.
Yes. You go, girl.
I believe
You go,
it.
girl.
I still believe it. And so it's amazing that when I started putting those beautiful formulations into my body, within a week or so, those cravings that I had
Yeah.
were gone. And if someone else told me that, I don't know if I might be a little skeptical with that. I experienced it and those
Right.
cravings were gone. I remember I went to go to some fast food restaurant. I got a burger, got fries, I got a soda. I brought it home and I was like, this does not taste good to me. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, and then also with the Ultra 30, how long it sustained me. I was shocked at that. I was like, what in the world? And the Fortitude 85 and how that helped, because I was in a really stressful situation. A lot of us, I mean, we all have stress because we're living.
Right.
But it was awesome to see how that would work for me, and the burn mode and how it would help to, I'm actually in a burn right now.
Yes.
And
Okay.
Me too. I'm just starting. I burn on Mondays and Tuesdays.
nice. It's so beneficial
Yeah.
to giving the body a break in all of the digesting, you know, give it a break, and then to receive all the nutrients and everything we need
Right.
with the burn mode, and to get those toxins out of there. It's amazing what it does.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. And actually, we interviewed a man named Jim Rhodes. He's actually a rather world famous nutritionist that has lectured and taught all over the world and at Harvard. And we did interview him over on our motivational Mavens of Motivation page. And then also I have a book out called
To fast or not to fast.
Thank you. I always forget that the first line, but it's to fast or not to fast. Timing is the question. And it talks about autophagy, and it talks about what happens when you do get your body into this fasting mode. And we always see fasting as bad. Oh, no, I don't want to fast, or you only do it for a religious reason. But fasting, we are the first generation ever that has 24-hour food.
Right.
24-hour food. You can go to a restaurant, a grocery store, a convenience store, wherever.
I have teenagers. The doorbell rings at midnight and they've had food delivered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
24-hour eating.
24-hour eating.
Yeah. Back when I was a child, none of that existed.
No.
And so you were, I mean, you could get up and cook, and we did occasionally. We were teenagers. But for the most part, people didn't eat between supper and breakfast. And those were fairly set times for most families. And a lot of times after supper, families didn't even do a bedtime snack. And so, there was an automatic fasting going on, but this burn mode that everybody's talking about, it's the bomb. It rocks.
Yes.
You're not hungry. You don't feel like you're going to chew off your right arm and swallow. And so,
I think my biggest awareness, the very first fast that I did, was I have Alzheimer's in my family. And that has been a huge concern for me for years and years and years and years and years, decades. And when I had I noticed the difference in feeling just sharper, more focused.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I remember saying to Carol, I said, Carol, I'm feeling like, and she's like, oh, that's because you're in autophagy. And I'm like, what's autophagy? I still didn't know what it was. Now I understand it, but it was just
kind of
amazing.
fought the whole thing a little bit, but
I fought, yeah.
Yeah.
I was not open to this.
Yeah. It was a challenge. I challenged her. So Janie, is there anything else you want to say to people that you want to make sure we cover that you would have wanted to know, or that about life, not necessarily about the products, but about life and about the products? I mean, you can go wherever you want. It just let us know what thing you want to end with.
Thank you so much. I have had a blast. Thank you so much for inviting me here. Something that I would like to talk about. I cry easy. It's one of my superpowers. Is my vulnerability and my sensitive heart. I love it. I really love it. And with my new foundation that I'm building, it's built on vulnerability and authenticity, faith, courage, trust, grace, and more. And so something that I would just like to share, part of my personal message is that you are worth it. You are worth it. You don't have to earn your value or your worth. It's just there. And you are worth showing up for. You are worth loving in every way. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's not selfish to put yourself as a priority. It's really, really important to do that. And some people, I was one of them, felt like it was selfish to take care of myself. And it's not. I heard people tell me, you've got to take care of yourself, or else you can't take care of anybody else. And I'd be like, well, no, I got to take care of everybody else, because who's going to take care of them if I don't? Well, we get to be 100% accountable in our lives. And that's a huge thing for me, is being 100% accountable for my own life. And I think that's my message, really, is to love yourself and to have that courage to stand up and to be who you really are, and to allow yourself, give yourself permission to feel what you need to feel, to receive what you need to receive, so that you can live the life you want and to be able to give what you can give. So I really do thank God for Zalevo, for my new lease on life. because I'm still Janie, and I love my life. I just have a lot of gratitude for where I am. And I'll just continue to show up in my life. I'll continue to show up, and I invite everyone else to do the same. Show up, shine your light. You don't have to play small. You get to embrace who you are.
Amen.
Embrace
Amen.
it.
Amen. And that right there sums up why we had her as our first guest on this show. To
be the first, zinger, to bring the first zinger into, because this zinger could be the start of your life.
Yes. Don't put it off.
Don't
And
put it
they
off.
when you get on the plane, they say put your oxygen mask on first. And just like she was saying, well, who will take care of him? Well, if you're in the hospital, or if you're dead, who's going to take care of them? Hopefully it'll be family, neighbors, who knows? But if you don't take care of you, you won't be around to know one way or the other. And and women are the worst at climbing over themselves to take care of other people, and getting up and getting it up and keeping on going. And so, we
get to rise. Embrace who we are.
Yes.
And so many people are now, and even the Dalai Lama said that this decade is going to be the decade of the woman.
Amen.
And we are going to be showing the world how to live, how to live a happy, healthy, financially free, and abundant life.
Yes.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love it.
And but we are responsible, and we need to take the first step.
Yes.
Love yourself.
Yeah. Nobody
take care of you.
Right.
And right here, the words of your mouth, what you say today will build your life tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you're negative about yourself and you're frustrated and always complaining and moaning and groaning, your life will spiral down.
Mm-hmm.
If you continually speak good, speak blessing, speak the word of God over your life will spiral up. So don't waste time.
So I will share one of my mantras is that don't wait. Your course is charted. Your destiny is assured. Wake up every morning being in excitement of the new day, the opportunity, and the opportunities of growth and change.
Amen.
And when you can do that, the world is your oyster, and you're the pearl within it.
Amen. So with that, we're going to say bye to all you pearls and join us again. Please click, like, and share. You got a little housework there. Share this with your friends. We want to make a difference in the world, and that's why we do these. So this is a wonderful story that I'm sure many, many people could glean a great deal from. So thank you so much.